So everyone and their mother assumes that Justin Jerome Jefferson, Triple J, will be the Vikings wide receiver 2, the second leading receiver on the team, and for good reason. I mean, Stephon Diggs is gone. There's a big power vacuum there. Justin Jefferson was a rock star, LSU, 111 catches his final season there in Baton Rouge. And also the other wide receivers, respect, BC Johnson, Tajay Sharp, but I think Justin Jefferson is going to get a big opportunity to be the Vikings' number 2 receiver this season. Also, you look at the tight ends, Irv and Rudy will be splitting work yet again in 2020, although I think that it will be a shift in power towards Irv Smith Jr. This season. So is it guaranteed that Justin Jefferson is going to have 100 plus targets? Probably not, right? But I do think that Dalvin Cook could be in line for a special season as a receiver this year, just given the circumstances of the Vikings' current roster. So Dalvin is a dynamic as a receiver, and if things get worked out, everyone kisses and makes up, they come to agreement on a long-term deal. Hell, even if Dalvin is forced to play on the final year of his rookie deal, angry Dalvin and fully healthy Dalvin, I'd love to see that. It'd be good too. So Dalvin has 128 targets over 29 career games, averages out to 4.4 a game. Also, not all of those have just been leaking out of the backfield checkdowns. A large majority, especially last season under Kubiak, were designed screens. Designed to get him the ball out in space, get it to your dynamic playmakers. What a novel concept, right? So last year, Dalvin had 63 targets over 14 games. Now, that does include Seattle as well as the Chargers games when Dalvin was severely limited, was not 100%. But also that led him to be second on the team in terms of targets behind only Stephon Diggs. Thielen, of course, only had 48 because of the injury-filled season. But also, you look at that big drop-off. Like, Thielen was tied with Rudy for third on the team with 48. And I don't necessarily see that gap closing anytime soon, and because it's not like the Vikings are going to suddenly go YOLO Cliff Kingsbury air raid all nines on the bit, right? So you look at stupid Christian McCaffrey, right? Like everyone's on him like he's the cat's ass, right? And McCaffrey had 116 catches, 1,005 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns last year on 142 targets. 1,000 yards receiving. Cool. But Dalvin certainly capable of the same things. Dalvin certainly does have a little bit of Marshall Faulk, a little bit of LaDainian Tomlinson, a little bit of Le'Veon Bell before he became the corpse of Le'Veon Bell. He's a great receiver. And for my money, I will put him up there with McCaffrey in terms of one of the best receiving backs in the league. And he's just as dynamic as that jabroni from Carolina. And I think that you could and should see it this year. Like the only downside, I don't think potentially holding it back. Gary Kubiak has never been known to be big at targeting the running back. You look back at Denver back in the day. Terrell Davis, Gary Anderson, even Clinton Portis, not so much. As well as with the Texans, Arian Foster's career high in terms of targets was only 84 in 2010, and then 72 in 2011. So Kubiak traditionally has not been all that big about using the running back as a de facto receiver, but Kubiak is smart enough to cater his scheme to his players and not the other way around, as we've certainly seen coaches, offensive coordinators trying to just jam players into their scheme. Norv. Yeah. So I think Dalvin should be paid, as well as I think that they definitely need to use him as a receiver more and more, because Justin Jefferson, I think he's going to be a great pro. I don't know if he's going to be good to go right out of the gate, so the Vikings do need to have some contingency plans. I think it will take a village to replace Stephon Diggs. I think it will be part of Thielen, be part of the tight ends, be part of Justin Jefferson, part of BC Johnson, but also a big part of it should be Dalvin Cook. And as we've seen, Kirk Cousins is phenomenal running screens. Great, as well as checking down at the right times when Dalvin has space and can make a play on the ball, as well as use Dalvin as a mismatch weapon, right? Put him in the slot, line him up at wide receiver. Like, who do you like in a matchup? Dalvin versus a linebacker, Dalvin versus a safety? I'll take 33 every single time. And also, yes, this is some frou Madden stuff, but I think they should be looking into using Madison as well as Dalvin Cook on the field at the same time. Madison lined up as a running back, Dalvin's occasionally in the backfield, sometimes in the slot, sometimes out wide, because 2 running backs in generally going to be matched up against the other team's base defense, and speed kills. I will take that matchup every single time, but we're potentially getting ahead of ourselves. But I think right now, if I had to wager, I would say that Dalvin is probably the second most targeted receiver on the team this year, behind Adam Jerome, Ezekiel Thielen. So We'll see. All right, but your thoughts. Dalvin the receiver. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, pull us on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.